Do you want to open a US bank account, but you're having problems because you're not a US resident? Don't worry, you're not alone. In 2025, it's become more difficult than ever to open a US bank account as a foreigner. Digital banks are constantly changing regulations and are looking for more and more information, making it almost impossible to keep up with everything. The same goes for other types of banks. In today's video, I'll tell you how to open a US bank account as a non-resident, so you too can get a hold of one or more of these. My name is John Pastor, co-founder of Nonresident Investor. Welcome to our channel, where we cover various topics about investing in US real estate, opening LLCs and US bank accounts, and other subjects that interest international entrepreneurs. My co-founder Luca and I have been opening US bank accounts for non-US citizens for years. First, I should tell you that opening a US bank account as a foreigner is usually the final step in the larger process of opening a US LLC. There are a lot of documents and information you need to prepare before you start applying for a bank account. Think of it as taking classes in college. You cannot just walk into class. You first need to enroll in college to attend the courses. There's a process to it. If you want to learn more about how to get to that point where you're ready to open a US bank account, check out our video on opening a US LLC. The link will be in the video description. Now, with all that out of the way, let's begin. As a non-resident who wants to open a US bank account, you have essentially three options or three ways to open a US bank account without a social security number. Number one, open an account with a digital bank. First, you can go with one of the digital banks, like Mercury, Wise, or Relay. Now, technically, these aren't actually banks, but are in fact electronic money institutions or financial technology companies. Without going into too much detail, this basically means that your money is theoretically less safe than if you put it in a regular bank. The good part is that most of these digital banks offer FDIC insurance, which will allow you to protect your money up to a specific amount, usually up to $250,000. Don't put your money anywhere without the bank having this insurance. Since the beginning of this year, the truth is, the majority of these digital banks are no longer accepting virtual addresses from registered agents. This means that you'll have to figure out a way to get a physical address if you want to make the process of getting a bank account go smoothly. This can be difficult to achieve on your own. So if you have any problems, don't hesitate to reach out to us at Nonresident Investor, either through the comment section or by booking a free call. On top of the address issue, recently, digital banks started asking for more information than they ever did before in an effort to avoid additional federal regulations. The reason for this is simple. These fintechs are in a position to stop financial crimes and money laundering, and they want to avoid fines. But what this means for a potential client is that in order to open an account at these fintechs, these institutions will be all up in your business. Be prepared to provide your passport information, copies of your passport, company website, EIN number, and sometimes even your LinkedIn or personal social media accounts. Generally, once you pass this rigorous approval process, it's smooth sailing. The banking and customer services are great overall. You don't have to travel anywhere to get an account. You can do all your banking online. Remember, these are technology companies, so ease of use is their bread and butter. These apps are all intuitive with competitive rates. You can easily transfer US dollars internationally, and they're ideal for quick setup with payment processors to start doing business. And each fintech has different features depending on your country and the company. Number two, open an account with a big US bank. The second option you have is going with one of the regular, let's call them big banks, like Chase, Bank of America, or Wells Fargo. To open an account at these national banks as a foreigner, you'll have to travel to the US and have an in-person meeting with bank representatives, give them your documentation, and hopefully you'll get an account within 2 to 3 weeks. As a foreigner, you will not be able to open an account at these institutions online. Additionally, most of these banks require a US address, which can complicate things. That's why this isn't the best option for people who have businesses that operate outside the US, like various online agencies or digital companies. However, getting an account with a big bank is the best and safest option for non-residents who have physical businesses in the US, like real estate, restaurants, shops, and so on. With a physical business comes an actual US address, so you won't have any problems on that front. Now, the main downside of these big institutions is that their online banking services are not on par with the type of services Wise or Mercury or Relay offer. It works, but don't get me wrong, it's just more old school. Number three, open an account with credit unions and local banks. The final option is a mid-size local bank or credit union that allows you to open an account via an online meeting. This is similar to opening an account with a big US bank in terms of safety, but instead of traveling to the US to have an in-person meeting, oftentimes you can have the introduction meeting online. The downside of these types of banks is that they require you to put in a big deposit. Depending on your situation in business, this deposit can be anywhere between $5,000 and $100,000. At some private wealth mid-sized banks, once you get approved and deposit money, you'll get your own private banker who will be available to you. They'll answer your questions, walk you through various banking services, and sometimes write you loans. The drawbacks of these types of options are the technology and access that these banks often do not offer. For example, while you might get concierge services within the bank, accessing your account or receiving statements might require additional steps. These are, generally speaking, the three options you have when it comes to opening a US bank account. Now, let's move on to the two types of bank accounts you can open and what sort of documents you'll need to get started. Personal versus business accounts and required documentation. As a foreigner in the US, you can open two types of bank accounts, personal accounts and business accounts. To get a personal account as a non-US citizen without a social security number, you'll at a minimum need to have two forms of ID, like a passport and a driver's license from your home country, a bank application that includes your personal information, like your name, mailing address, phone number, employment, net worth, income, and so on. Proof of your current address. Most banks will accept recent utility bill or mortgage statement that has your name and address on it. A small deposit, usually between $25 and $100, and an ITIN number. Most of the things are relatively easy to get, except for the ITIN number. Getting one can be an issue if you don't know what you're doing. We've made a video how to do it. So if you need help figuring that part out, go check out our video. The link is in the description below. Additionally, a lot of banks will want to know your reasoning for opening a personal account, so make sure to prepare one, as just saying I need or want an account won't cut it. This doesn't need to be anything complicated. You can say something like, I need it for business, and then explain how you plan on using the account. Many people get hung up on this question, and it leads to them getting rejected. So make sure you don't. My advice, based on experience, is to prepare a written statement of around 10 sentences on why you need the account and how you plan on using it. The second type of US account you can get as a foreigner is a business bank account. To get one, you'll first need to have a registered US LLC in good standing and provide the bank with the following documentation. Number 1, the LLC certificate or articles of organization. Number 2, the EIN confirmation letter, which you'll get from the IRS. Number 3, the LLC's operating agreement. Number 4, the address of your US LLC or US-based registered agent. Number 5, the website of your company. Number 6, a passport-sized photo. Number 7, 2 forms of government-issued ID. Number 8, the proof of personal address. Number 9, a deposit that can greatly vary based on the bank and services you need. How to choose the right bank. In the US, there are over 4,500 banks and financial institutions that you can choose from, which is, quite frankly, a big number. To make the process of choosing a bank easier on yourself, I recommend you start by asking yourself the question, what type of banking services do I need? Based on that answer, you can slowly start narrowing your options. For example, if you own an IT company that operates outside the US and your main thing is international transactions in US dollars, you could go with a digital bank. Mercury, Wise, or Relay is what I'd recommend. If you want increased safety for your money and don't mind making a substantial deposit, you go with a local US bank that allows you to remotely open an account. Consider the country or region you're coming from. Some banks will restrict certain features or completely block you from making an account based on where you're from. For example, if you live in the Philippines, you can't get a Wise business account, but you can get a Wise personal account. On the other hand, if you're from Austria, Italy, or one of the other 160 countries that Wise supports, you'll face no restrictions. The type of business you're starting will impact your banking options. For example, if your business is considered high risk, like various gambling services, crypto trading, and such, you might have a hard time getting a US account. On the other hand, if you're investing in US real estate, which is a physical business, getting a US account won't be an issue at all. I say this to emphasize that there is no one solution that fits everybody. There isn't a single bank that will work perfectly for everybody, so start prioritizing your banking needs. And then go look for a US bank that offers those services to citizens of your home country. At NRI, We are affiliated with over 20 U.S. banks or fintechs, from credit unions to mid-sized local banks and bigger. After our onboarding process, we connect our clients with institutions that are most suited for them. We focus on your needs and connect you with banks that operate in your region and your industry. If you need any help figuring things out or want someone to help you through the entire process of opening a U.S. bank account, you can book a free call and we'll go from there. Just go to the link in the description and let us do the hard work for you. One thing to note is that if you're an international entrepreneur, it's always a good idea to have more than one account connected to your business, preferably at different banks. This can serve as a plan B in case anything unexpected happens. So, even if you already have a U.S. account, I recommend you get in touch with us, as having a backup plan can't hurt. Thank you all for watching. We hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. We'd love to hear from you and how we can improve this channel, or if you have a specific subject you want us to cover, feel free to give us your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video on the Non-Resident Investor channel.